Donald Trump would have you believe that the dox scandal is a thing that is the province of Joe Biden right now, that he should not be suffering any sort of investigation or lingering suspicion over his intentional theft of hundreds of classified documents, that now it's all about Biden. But just in case you're still worried about him, he has a new defense that he is rolling out like 4 or 5 months after this story broke. He had this to say on True Social. Remember, these were just ordinary, inexpensive folders with various words printed on them, but they were a cool keepsake. Perhaps the Gestapo took some of these empty folders when they raided Mar-a-Lago, capital R raided, and counted them as a document, which they are not. It's also possible that the Trump-hating Marxist thugs in charge will plant documents while they're in possession of the material. As president and based on the Presidential Records Act and SOX, I did nothing wrong, Joe did. So again, I've always thought that it was amazing that like one would expect that it coming out that Biden also had documents would result in one of two things that make some at least shallow sense, which would be, oh look, everyone does it, so let's lay off Trump. Or, oh look, they both did it. So if you guys are saying that Donald Trump's in trouble, then I guess Biden's in trouble too. But they have gone way past all that, and they still don't think Trump should be in trouble, but Biden should be for the far lesser crimes that he's committed. In any event, there's a lot there, Bridget. The idea that he just had hundreds of folders because they were so cool that there were no documents in them. Or if there were documents, they were probably planted documents. But also bear in mind that if they were planted documents or not planted documents, he could declassify them at a moment's notice. So it doesn't really matter. But just in case, they were probably planted or they didn't exist in the first place. Anyway, why are you on my back? Go talk to Joe Biden. What do you think?
John, are you accusing the former President Donald Trump of inconsistencies and hypocrisy? Is that what's happening right here?
I think his hypocrisy is cool.
Yeah, I also love the cool keepsake defense that like, oh, these were just inexpensive folders with various words printed on them. That's an interesting way to describe like classified documents. No, it's exactly what you expect from Trump at this point. Just complete inconsistency and hypocrisy. I agree with you. I feel like if I were advising Trump, I would be like, hey, lay low. This is not the time to be like, Joe Biden did something wrong and I didn't. When y'all like, doesn't make any sense to be doing right now. But hey, it's Trump. Trump's gonna Trump. This is what he does.
Yeah, again, like we are so past the point where this can be your defense that it was just the folders, which why wasn't there looking for the folders then? Why were they? And when they repeatedly asked you to turn it back, if it's just a cool keepsake, why didn't you just give him back at that point? Again, we do not need to pretend that he just had folders because we have known for literally months that they weren't just folders. And I don't just mean that all of the investigators have said that they found actual documents and showed them when they found them, but him and all of his defenders have been spending months telling us that the documents he had, it was perfectly fine for him to have because he declassified them. We cannot then erase the knowledge that he had the documents that they wanted us to have to know that he had. The entire thing is just madness. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. Do I even want to? Oh God, he goes on about like how they were. Why did they search Biden's house again? Because Biden is turning over the documents willingly. You dumb. I almost swore. You dummy. I'll say you dummy. Keep it together. Okay. I do want to let you know though how the American public thinks about this thing is slightly different. On his handling of the documents, 60% say that Biden did it inappropriately. 22% said that he handled the records appropriately. I've got news for those 22%. He didn't, by definition. He shouldn't have had them. But that said, 46 to 37%, they don't think that Biden should face criminal charges over the mishandling of the documents. That is slightly different than back when this story broke for Trump. 50 to 41%, they believe that he should be prosecuted. Now, many Republicans will see that and think, oh, look, people are being inconsistent. And perhaps on some level they are. But again, we have to bear in mind that there is clearly a difference, not just in scale, which has never been particularly important to me, but intent to do this. He clearly intended to steal the documents. He clearly tried to cover it up when they were requested and has been fighting giving them back ever since. Whereas Joe Biden, who should be held responsible for having the documents in the first place, has been doing seemingly everything he can to give them back ever since. Bridget.
I mean, it's what they always say, right? What is the phrase? It's not the crime, it's the cover up. I think it's clear to people watching. I agree with you. I think that Biden should be held accountable for whatever ends up, whatever he did or didn't do with documents inappropriately. But it's clear to me that one party is like doing what they're supposed to be doing and trying to give things over, in an appropriate way, and the other is not. So you're completely right that calling that an inconsistency just doesn't work in my book.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.